Welcome back to another edition of our 2021 UNC Basketball Recruiting Snapshot Series on TarHeelIllustrated.com. And if you're watching us on our YouTube channel, Tar Heel Illustrated, I am THI publisher Andrew Jones, and joining me as he does with each one of these videos in this series is the guy who's doing the series, our very own Director of Basketball Recruiting, Clint Jackson. And just to let everybody know, before we dive into this particular podcast, what we're doing is Clint has identified through the kids that have offered and the targets that UNC has in the class of 21, the kids that we believe the Tar Heels are kind of zeroing in on. And he's doing a written piece one day, and the next day we run a podcast where we kind of fill in the cracks from the written piece. And to read the written piece, you've got to have a premium subscription to Tar Heel Illustrated, which is just $8.33 a month. And with that, you get all of Clint's written stuff and a ton of things on the board. In fact, just the other day, he put some really cool stuff on the message board. We actually linked it at the top of the page, but you can only read it if you have a premium subscription. It's just $8.33. So skip McDonald's or fast food one day a month, and you paid for it right there. And you get all of Clint's amazing wisdom. And with that, I bring in our very own Clint Jackson. And Clint, the series is going real well. There's been an amazing response to it, and I know people are going to be really interested in this young man, Mr. Caleb Houstan. Before you talk about his game, I know there's a lot of chatter about reclassification, so kind of fill everybody in on that.
Yeah, so the thing with Caleb Houstan is right now he's actually a 2022 prospect. So, he's number 5 in his class right now. But all of our intel, all of our information leads us to believe that he is going to reclass. He is originally from Canada. He's playing right now down at Montverde Academy down there, Orlando in Florida, for Kevin Boyle, one of the best high school coaches, maybe even the best high school coach in the country. So we believe that he is going to reclass. He does hold a UNC offer at this point. So we're going to go ahead and talk about him as if we're expecting the reclass to happen, because we do expect the reclass to happen. Okay,
so when you look at Caleb Houstan's game, what are some of the things that jump out at you and say, wow, this guy's awfully good?
Well, he's 6'8", and he's a legit 6'8". He's very lanky. He's very fluid and agile. But the biggest thing about him is he is an absolute weapon. He's a shooter. He's cut from that sort of Klay Thompson, Reggie Miller mold, where he's on the wing, filling the lanes, catches the ball, gets it out of his hand quick, got plenty of range. He's very, very dangerous as a perimeter shooter. He's a marksman. That's his specialty. He's a good player otherwise, but, he's really a 6'8" sniper, and that's what we really like about him.
Does he have an inside game? Can he take guys into the lane and score over them or do anything like that?
He can do a little bit of that. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that is his best skill set, because it's not. But we see him catch a lot of little turnaround 12, 13-footers in the lane, kind of pivoting off his right foot as a fadeaway. He's a shooter. He will occasionally take players off the dribble. He'll occasionally run the floor and finish, in transition. He's a good athlete, not a great athlete, but shooting is definitely where his best skill set is. I think this is the type of kid that you put him on, you surround him with a lot of talent, and he will score 15, 20, 25 points a night just doing what he does best, which is shooting the basketball.
I know you're not a big fan of comparing guys to previous players because of the false expectations and that kind of thing. But based on what you're describing, can people think in terms of maybe Justin Jackson with maybe less of a driving game at this stage, and maybe a Cameron Johnson type if they try to envision this kid in a Carolina uniform?
Yeah, definitely similar body type, similar jump shots, maybe even a little bit of a taller Danny Green mixed in a little bit there. Not quite the defender or shot blocker that Danny Green was, but the way he moves, the way he gets the ball out of his hand, his range, all that stuff, he would very, very well fit into that mold of those 3 players that you mentioned.
So what's something about his game that would maybe surprise people who think they understand his game and know it pretty well, that you kind of take from it that really impresses you?
Doesn't force things. He's a very good team player. He passes the ball. He's very alert. When he doesn't, maybe get the shot out of his hand quick enough, he's not going to force anything. He plays really well in a team system, running up and down the floor, but also half court. So I'd say the thing that really surprises me is he doesn't force things. He just lets the game come to him. Does a very good job of that.
And what's the pulse with Caleb Houstan in North Carolina right now? And how might that change if he does reclassify, or when he does reclassify?
Well, the pulse is hard to read on this one because this is not a kid who does a lot of media stuff. You know, I've reached out to him. I reached out to some Canadian sources who would know well of his recruitment. There's not a lot of information out there right now. We do know that Oregon sometimes is very strong for Canadian kids. Yeah, UNC is someone he's talking about right now. You know, of course, you got Dayron Sharp down there with him at Montverde, Texas Tech, Gonzaga, Michigan, Virginia. A lot of schools are on him. And I think once he reclasses, he may even see another surge in his recruitment. This is a guy that would have been very interesting to see that first EYBL weekend, what college programs would have been there on the baseline. Duke is involved with him. He's going to be recruited at the highest level. I think he's a blue blood recruit. And I think he's going to go somewhere where there's a system that proves a shooter like him can get to that next level. I think that's the plan.
Going back to the reclass issue, do you know if there's a timeline on that? And if you're not sure, was there a timeline? And that's kind of been scrambled a little bit now because of the shutdown.
Well, I'll give credit to Corey Evans on this one because he actually got an interview with him. And I was, as I was prepping, of course, you read everything that's out there. You talk to your sources to get that last sort of touch point. Corey had him quoted as saying, hopefully by the end of the summer, he'll have a plan on when he'll reclass. This kid's already 17 years old. I definitely think the reclass is going to happen. I'd probably gauge it at over 90%.
Okay, sounds good. Clint, appreciate it. We're going to continue the series. If you haven't seen any of the series yet, go to TarHeelIllustrated.com. Click around. You'll find all of his pieces. If you become a member, you'll find everything in one neat, compact message board thread with a lot of comments from our subscribers and also from Clint in there as well. And you also have the links to all of these podcasts. For Clint Jackson, this is Andrew Jones. We appreciate you stopping by. Thank you.